Good morning, all of you. I'm Rakhi Sharma, Assistant Professor in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So today we are discussing the introduction to semiconductor devices. So basically, what are the electronic devices? Electronic devices basically allows the flow of electric current through them for the purpose of information processing and the system control. And according to the nature, we classify them as active devices and passive devices. Now, what are the active and the passive devices? What do we infer from that? Active devices are basically, we can say they are acting as the transmitter, that is, they are providing the energy to the circuit, particular circuit. Example, BJT, diode, FET, that is BJT is the bipolar junction transistor, आपका PN junction diode. The third one is FET, that is field effect transistor. These are all the examples of active devices. Now, what are the passive devices? Passive devices are basically acting as the receiver, that is, they are receiving the energy from the circuit and maintaining it. The examples of passive devices are resistors, capacitors, and inductors. So this is a basic introduction of electronic devices. What are these and how do we classify them according to the nature? According to the nature, they are classified as active and passive devices. So based on the electrical conductivity, we classify the electronic devices as conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. Conductors are basically those devices whose conductivity is very high, and we can say that they can easily allow the flow of the charge carriers through them. Semiconductor devices are those in which the electrical conductivity lies in between the conductors and in between the insulators. And the examples of semiconductors are silicon and germanium. Insulators are those in which the conductivity is extremely low and they do not able to participate in the conductivity of the devices, that is, they do not provide the flow of current through them very easily. The examples, the common examples of insulators are glass, rubber, and mica. So basis on the electrical conductivity, we classify our electronic devices, which are these conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. As I described and in the previous slide, I have given the basic introduction, what are the conductors. So these are the basic, or we can say the salient features of the conductors, which is depicting that in this the conductivity is very high. They provide ease in the flow of the charge carriers, and particularly in terms of the energy gap in the conductors is 0, and the examples are copper and gold. The next one, semiconductors. Their conductivity, particularly we are discussing or classifying the devices based on the electrical conductivity of the material. So their conductivity is in between the conductors and the insulators, and the energy gap, that is around 1.2 electron volt. The examples of the semiconductor devices are silicon and germanium. Insulators, their conductivity is extremely low and the energy gap, that is around more than 6 electron volt. The examples are glass and the rubber and mica. This is the band structure of the particularly of the three devices, which are insulators, semiconductors, and particularly metals, or metals we can say that the conductors also. So in case of metals or in case of conductors, what we are observing is that the energy band gap is completely 0 and the conduction band and the valence band overlap with each other, and because of this overlapping, the energy band is, we can say that the energy gap between the conduction band and the valence band is 0. Next one is the semiconductors, in which the valence band is completely filled, but as we compare to your conduction band, that is empty at particular 0 Kelvin, and the energy gap that is around 1.2 electron volt, and that is in between your conductor and insulators. And finally, your insulators, we can say that the energy gap is much more as compared to metals and the semiconductors, and that is around more than 6 electron volt in case of insulators. So, basis on the this band diagram, we are classifying our devices or particularly in 3 categories, which are metals, semiconductors, and your last one is the insulators. Now, what is the need of semiconductor devices? Nowadays, everyone is employing or everyone is using semiconductor material in the manufacturing of all the electronic devices. So, what is the need or significance of using these devices are? They are easily available, and particularly they are cost effective, and the major feature for using these semiconductor devices is that the conductivity can be controlled and modulated as per our requirements. So, that is the main feature of semiconductor material or semiconductor devices, is that the conductivity can be modulated or can be adjusted as per our requirements. So, these are all the significant and the essential features of semiconductor devices, and the main features of using these devices or material, semiconductor material in all the electronic devices. Basically, this we classify our semiconductor devices into particularly in 2 categories. The first category is intrinsic semiconductor, and the second category is extrinsic semiconductor. Now, what is the meaning of intrinsic semiconductor? The intrinsic semiconductor is the purest form of semiconductor in which the amount of doping is almost negligible. That is, we are not adding any amount of impurity to the purest form of semiconductor. So, intrinsic semiconductor is the purest one, and particularly we can say that it is one of the major feature of intrinsic semiconductor, that is it is also following the mass action law. The second category is your extrinsic semiconductor. The extrinsic semiconductors are obtained by adding the pentavalent impurities and by adding the trivalent impurities. So, what kind of semiconductors we obtain after adding these kinds of impurities? So, the extrinsic semiconductors are further classified into 2 categories. The first one is particularly your N type, and the second one is your P type. In N type semiconductors, particularly we are adding the pentavalent impurities, which are arsenic and antimony, and in P type semiconductors we are adding the trivalent impurities, which are boron and aluminium. So, based on the amount of doping or dopant added, we are classifying our semiconductor devices in 2 categories, which are the intrinsic one and the extrinsic one. In intrinsic, that is the purest form without any impurity. We are not adding any kind of impurity to the purest form of semiconductor, and we are defining it as the intrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsics are those in which the impurities are added. The main objective to add the impurities is particularly to enhance the conductivity or to increase the efficiency of our device. So, based on the position of the Fermi level, how we are classifying our devices, particularly your intrinsic type, in which basically what is Fermi level? First of all, we are discussing what is the Fermi level. Fermi level is the highest energy level occupied by an electron. So, based on that position of your Fermi level, how we differentiate our devices, particularly in intrinsic type and your extrinsic type. So, intrinsic type, the position of Fermi level as we see in our diagram is that the Fermi level lie in between your conduction band and the valence band, that is in the mid position of both the bands. Next one, for the n type, your Fermi level will be close to the conduction band, and in particularly in n type, one of the energy level that also exists, we can define that it as the donor level. Now what is the donor level? Donor level is particularly occupied by the density states of the atoms which are closer to your conduction band, or we can say that the effective density states of the electrons that are closer to the conduction band. So further defining the position of Fermi level in n type, we can say that the Fermi level EF will be close to the conduction band and it lies between the donor level and between the conduction band edge, that is EC. Next, your p type. In p type, particularly we are defining the position of EF. The EF will be close to the valence band, particularly in p type, and it lies between your acceptor level and the valence band edge. What is acceptor level? Similarly, it is the density states occupied by the holes that is closer to the valence band, because in valence band the majority of your charge carriers are the holes. So we can say that the acceptor level is particularly defining the density states of the majority charge carriers, and we also define these density states or depict them by Na or Nc in case of p type and n type. So in p type, the position of Fermi level will be close to your valence band edge, or we can say that it is lying between your acceptor level and the valence band. So based on the position of your Fermi level, we are categorizing our types of semiconductors, that is intrinsic and extrinsic, your n type and p type, based on your position of the Fermi level. These are some equations, or we can say that position of mathematically how we are expressing the position of Fermi level in intrinsic semiconductors. So the basic condition of intrinsic semiconductor is that the number of free electrons or the number of free holes are equal. So we can say that for your intrinsic type, n naught, that is equal to p naught, where n naught is the number of free electrons and p naught are the number of free holes, and we are defining these concentration or number of free holes and free electrons in terms of your effective density states, which are Nc and Nv. And particularly on solving this equation, we are able to define mathematically what is the position of Fermi level for intrinsic semiconductor, because our major objective is to find out the position of Fermi level for intrinsic semiconductors, so that we can exactly calculate or define it for different types of semiconductors. So next one, this is all about the derivation or derivative part that I have depicted in the earlier slide also. We have used the basic condition for the intrinsic type, that is for the intrinsic type semiconductors, we are saying that number of free electrons is almost equal to the number of free holes, and defining in terms of density states, we are equalizing it, and after solving this and putting this condition, what we are getting? We are getting the position of Fermi level for the intrinsic semiconductor, and we are depicting this position of Fermi level EF by EI. Further, if we apply our conditions and we finally obtain that in case of intrinsic semiconductor, the position is in between the valence band and the conduction band. That is being proved also by this equation, in which we are depicting that the sum of the conduction band edge and the valence band edge is almost half, which is depicting that the position of the Fermi level lies between your valence band and the conduction band. So that is all about the derivative part, or we can say that how we are mathematically calculating the position of Fermi level for the intrinsic semiconductors, or defining the position of the Fermi level for intrinsic semiconductor. So, by using or by mathematically defining and proving it, we can say that Fermi level in case of intrinsic semiconductor lies in between your valence band and the conduction band. This is the major outcome after this derivation. Now, these are the, now we are discussing basically the position of Fermi level for the extrinsic type semiconductor. Prior, we have discussed what is the position of Fermi level for the intrinsic type. We have also mathematically proved it. Now, we are discussing in case of extrinsic semiconductor, what will be the position of Fermi level. So, these are the expressions that we obtained after deriving or mathematically calculating, is that these are all the expressions in case of, first of all, for the N type, which is defining the position of Fermi level and with respect to your intrinsic level. That is, we are defining your position of Fermi level, that is EF, EC minus EI, particularly in case for N type and similarly for the P type. And similarly for your P type, we are saying that EI minus EF, the equation we are getting is that. Particularly for the N type, we are getting it as KT log ND over NI. Now, what is ND? ND, we can say that the effective density of electrons in the conduction band, or in other words, sometimes we are saying that it is also the donor concentration. Particularly for the P type, we are what we are getting is that your EF, EI minus EF. EI minus EF is depicting is that KT log NA over NI. What is NA? NA is particularly your effective density states, or we can say the acceptor concentration in your semiconductor, and NI is depicting your intrinsic carrier concentration. So, these are basically the equations, we can say that, which are defining the position of the Fermi level, particularly for your N type and particularly for your P type. This is all about the position of the Fermi level that we have discussed so far, that is how it varies and how it lies and between your conduction band and the valence band. As earlier in my slide, I have discussed that particularly for the intrinsic, it is lying in between your conduction band and the valence band, and particularly for your extrinsic type, in N type, we are defining it, mathematically we are defining the positions. That's all about the position of your Fermi level for the extrinsic type semiconductors. Now, what are the applications of semiconductor devices? Basically, we are using the semiconductor devices for the manufacturing of diodes, transistors, integrated circuits, that is your ICs. These are the basic applications of semiconductor devices. Thank you. But before concluding my lecture, I want to give the emphasis particularly on the position of the Fermi level, because Fermi level is one of the most typical or the kind of, we can say that, complicated or complex thing that we encounter during the study of these devices. So, particularly in my lecture, my total or complete emphasis is on the position of the Fermi level. So, I am again repeating it. For the intrinsic type of semiconductors, the position of the Fermi level is in between your valence band and the conduction band edge, and for the extrinsic type of semiconductor, your Fermi level will be close to the conduction band edge for the N type, and it will be close to the valence band edge for the P type. So, what I have covered in this lecture, particularly I am summarizing all the things up till now. We have discussed the basic, what are the electronic devices, particularly their classification based on the nature of the material. That is, we are classifying it as active devices and passive devices. Next classification is based on the electrical conductivity of the material in which we are classifying our semiconductor devices, particularly your electronic devices, particularly on the electrical conductivity in which we are classifying them as conductors, insulators, and particularly your semiconductors. And our emphasis is particularly on the semiconductor devices because of their efficiency, because of their wide use in the industry. We are discussing the semiconductor devices. What are semiconductor devices? How do we classify them? And particularly their classification in intrinsic and extrinsic. And the major emphasis is particularly on the position of the Fermi level. So that is the main concern or the main objective of this lecture, is to give more emphasis or the precise information particularly on the position of your Fermi level, particularly that is defined for the intrinsic type, and next is for extrinsic type. Last, we have discussed the applications of your semiconductor devices. Thank you so much for your time.